Then today we were talking about a little bit on some subject in last weekend, and also we were talking about more dependent origination, which is a very important one, and also this analysis of the result. So this thing, if we have some sense of this logic, then it's actually will make it really easy to study and understand the whole Madhyamaka. Then many, of course, the details, each and every stanzas have a lot of meanings, but if you really understand the real point, that is make it very easier for all, these things. And then tomorrow we will talk about more. I also would like to talk about a little bit more how Chandrakirti using charity for establishing of the selflessness of a person. But I want to say you that this reasoning, like any kind of this five major reasoning, can establish that all the phenomena are not truly existed, or can establish the emptiness. But it depends, according our kind of interests and tendencies. Some logic doesn't work for me, and maybe it's work for you. And for example, like not arising, maybe it doesn't work for you. Dependent origination work for you very well. So we have a many variety types of the people. Therefore, Nagarjuna repeating again and again, showing many different logics. Like the purpose is like that. It doesn't mean one logic cannot establish selflessness of phenomena, selflessness of a person. But the selflessness, so in a text, it's in the 6th chapter. First, Chandrakirti using this not arising logic to establishing of the selflessness of phenomena, and then second, he also using the charity, the bullying by a horse, chariot, using the 7-point found of charity and the establishment of the selflessness of person. There's also another very kind of a very nice logic to establish it. But either one, this logic can establish it for all the phenomena. The charity it's not only establishing selflessness of person, but it's also can prove that the selflessness of the phenomena. Not arising logic also can establish selflessness of phenomena and selflessness of person, can apply everything. But the only thing is that it depends on which logic makes sense more to you. It depends on individual's merit or individual's interests, individual's tendencies. These are only things. And then we will talk about more like beyond from 4 extremes. These 4 extremes is different from 4 extreme arising. The 4 extreme arising, what we are talking is, so far we were talking is the arising from itself is extreme arising. Arising from others is another, both and neither. These 4 extreme of arising, truly arising, is different from what we're gonna talk tomorrow. This which beyond from 4 extremes. This can be also very extreme for us, but which means not truly exist. So far we will talk about only that, right? We will talk about not truly exist. But tomorrow we are gonna to talk about not only not truly exist, but not only not truly exist, but also not truly existed, it doesn't exist. Not existed, not existed, it's not existed. So it's so also we're going to talk about that the things are not truly either neither truly exist, not truly exist, neither both. Yeah, so we will talk about this tomorrow. We do discuss because basically is in Chandrakirti and Madhyamaka philosophy trying to negating the object which we are grasping. In order to reduce or cutting down or remove our grasping, we need to negating object of the grasping. If you are grasping existed or not existed, anyone already get problem. That if you grasping something or grasping thing, that's nothing. All already problem here. So we will talk about it tomorrow. Then if you have some question, we still have 15 minutes. 15 minutes? Okay.
Thank you, Kempo. I would like to clarify my understanding on emptiness. I think from the point of dependent arising, because you said there are many ways. So I think you mentioned a few times that emptiness is not nothingness. Sorry. So I think there are many ways of expressing emptiness, like illusion, not truly existing, and all that. So then habitually, right, we will subconsciously think that emptiness is nothingness. Because we like to say it's illusion like. So I think habitually, when we hear illusion like, it becomes nothingness. So for example, like the question asked earlier on, when I think of emptiness, how come my iron didn't become lighter? Because we kind of think like, it's like nothingness, that kind of thing. So I think in the relative sense, right, can we understand emptiness from the point of dependent origination? So that we don't fall into two extremes. So there are two sides of a coin. So emptiness is dependent origination. Dependent origination is emptiness. That's so right. Is that what was being explained in the Heart Sutra? Form is emptiness. Emptiness is form. Can we understand from that way?
That's right.
Yeah. Can you explain more or?
Okay. You already explained. Better than me. And yes, kind of nothingness, like rapid home is nothingness, isn't it? It's nothing. But these phenomena and relative things are not inherently or truly exist, or they are not truly or inherently arising, but it is existed. Dependent origination. So this is it's also the Buddha himself also when introduced the nature of the phenomena, he bringing a lot of examples. Examples like kind of magicians and magics, miracles. It's similar, right? Magician, miracle, and then dreams and reflections. Those are, you see, although reflection of your face are not existed as we perceive, but it still does work. It still have you make up, make you beautiful, right? So cause a condition all like that. In reality, it is kind of a absence of the intrinsic nature, but still it does work in where this means not nothingness. Although it's emptiness, the reflection of your face on the mirror is kind of emptiness, right? There's no eyes, no nose, no face, but it still appear there. Still appear. And so all the phenomena are like this. This is because until we fully awake, we cannot negate, we cannot don't have this kind of dual perception. But we can make lose grasping. You know that this is interesting. Milarepa told to Rechungpa, he's one of his hard son. Put no meeting hembejings. Appearance will not trip yourself in the samsara. Appearance will not trip you in the samsara. Trip, you know, the tribe. But attaching this appearance will trap you in this samsara. So then people like us who want to get out from samsara, what we have to deal with is the grasping or attaching the things are real. We doesn't have to much deal with the appearance, perceptions, all those things. So because of that, then although we appear, we have a perceptions, all those things, we cannot make without having this. As long as we have this, also we cannot act as people who are already beyond of this illusion. So we have to deal with it. But also it will be very easy to deal with it if we know that the things are not truly exist as we see. Actually, interesting story, but this story always bring to show this many ways. The story bring by Chitramata school, also Madhyamaka school. It's different point. Chitramata school will bring us to things that not truly existed other than our mind. But mind, you know, the middle way bring this story, which I'm going to maybe I will tell you, is for things are not truly exist as we see there. So this is the story actually Buddha himself already mentioned in the sutra, saying that in Varanasi there was really gentleman, has a single mother, and married very kind of beautiful lady, and he was businessman. Usually at that time go business for on the ocean, sealing on the ocean, and collected jewelries, and it will take years and to return back to the home. And then the son, before leaving his home, he asked his wife to take care of his mother as he was there. The wife is promised to do exactly what he requested. Then after he left, few months later, then mom thought the daughter-in-law was changed. because the doctor-in-law was not giving any clean food. He saw a lot of hairs on rice, but he cannot avoid it. He eat it months, and then he also worried that my doctor-in-law has treating me so bad, and I eat this rice with so many hairs. I will eventually definitely will die by eating this. It will be make sick. He think like that. It's exactly he got sick. Looks like have a stomach cancer. And then year later, the son returned back to home. And returned back to home. And then I asked his mom how he is. She said he was going to die because he's sick. And she wasn't really, her doctor-in-law was not good as when son was around. And then son really angry with his wife, and he himself cooked meal and served to his mother. When offering the rice to her, and instead saying anything, gazing at her son's face, saying that, no, you also have changed. Look at the rice, who can eat it? It's full of the hairs, dirties. Then son realized he got eye sickness. And then son was also very smart. Asked mother, you keep this food first. Then he brought the doctor, did a kind of operation, traditional operation, take something like that. And then son asked mother to look at the food. When mother see this food, which he saw a lot of hairs, no single hairs on that. And then mother realized that what she thought she eating impurity food, all pure, not clean. That how could be I have the sickness or cancer with the eating the impure food. And he immediately recovered. So in see that this point, when he know that no hairs truly exist on there, it is a kind of all like same thing, although like this, although if you show like this, and we see a lot of hairs on things, but some when you tasked or doctor saying that this is not real, this is your eye sickness, then who has a black line, until do operation they can still see it. But once they have an idea it is not real there, even though you see it, it doesn't very much make trouble to you much. At the same thing, like if we have the Madhyamaka, this emptiness concept, this means that we are having concept that the things are not intrinsically existent in the reality. It's just seeing as because due to our perception, due to our tendencies. And then having this kind of concept, not only having concept, also putting in our daily life, whenever we need, especially when you are terrified, when you see ghost. When you see ghost, and that time is the right timing thinking, oh, it's just my illusion. It's in the reality, there's no ghost. And when you watch the horror movie, also trying to start to apply at that time. And then slowly in the daily life, although you appear many different illusions, but it will not very much impact you to have anger. Having when then you can test yourself purposely to be with who are you are irritating most. And at that time, and think about it, apply this emptiness concept, and seeing as like a thing as we are watching horror movie, and so it doesn't work or not. So then once it work, that means it's really helping you, not only temporarily, but it will make us to liberate from this net of the delusion, net of the this. So, okay.
Thank you, Kempo. Actually, just now you mentioned that in the four schools there are different treatment to the middle way.
Okay.
So I'm just wondering, you can enlighten us on the practice of the Madhyamaka on the Noble Eightfold Path. The practice of the Madhyamaka views according to the Noble Eightfold Path.
According to
the Noble Eightfold Path.
Noble Eightfold Path. Okay. Well, every school talk about the eight noble path, right view, right behavior, those things. But so each schools also have a different instructions, but the way of our practice then is almost the same. A concept, for example, Madhyamaka, like when you practice, you are trying to practice the Eight Noble Path. It's just kind of practicing in a relative level. They will, the concept, Madhyamaka will have a concept that even eight noble path are not truly exist in reality. It's just also another kind of relative truth. It's another kind of related truth. For example, like four noble truths, putting in the two categories of the two truths. First three truths are relative truth. Truth of the suffering, truth of cause of suffering, truth of path of cessation. These three are the relative truths. But the real eight noble path, right? How do you proper to say in English? Noble Eightfold Path. we are not able to practice a real noble Eightfold Noble Path, okay? Because this is a real. This is the kind of Bhumi Arya's path. But we can practice a similarity, trying to have the right view through studying this kind of book, and basically, I can say like that. Is we're trying to follow the instruction of the how to practice that eight paths. But between four circles, they have only view path is different. View concept in view is different. But the practice level, even in Madhyamaka, when the ordinate bhikkhus, it's exactly follow the Sarvakayana's Hinayana Vinaya practice. They follow. They're using the instruction of the Sarvakayana's the Vinaya basket. So same thing. We can practice according the instruction of the any kind of schools, but the different is that to have this kind of different view. For example, if you want to follow the Madhyamaka, they're trying to have the concept of emptiness, even while you are practicing the noble path. Okay. Okay.
Anyone else has any questions? No questions?
No. Okay.
I just want to. It's not really a question. I don't know if I make sense, but I just try and ask. So just now, this lady, she said that she saw a man who was putting cement on a building, right?
Okay.
Then she said, then the man went away, and then she was saying, if she tell us, and then we look, then we will say there's no man. So how is she going to prove that it's real? It's reality for her. So when I heard her question, in my mind, I imagined that, okay, logically there will be a person who did the work, but it's my thinking only, but I believe her. So I believe reality there is a man, but I can't see the man, so it's an imagination. So I imagine there's a worker who's doing some work. During the break, I saw the man, and it feels like I've seen reality, like so there is really a man, and then I feel like I saw reality in inverted commas, but then I found out that it cannot be the same thing that she has seen because of the time and all that. So why am I seeing this reality? Why do I feel like when I have seen it, it's there? It's different from the one which I knew I've imagined earlier. Yeah, so I don't quite understand that.
Well, this sort of both are related. Before and after. This also, it's a. The way your question is sort of. I think both of us equally same degree of the truth, equally same degree of the truth. But in a relative level, both of the truth. In order to establish, you always don't have to see directly. There's two cognition which you can believe. Direct perception of cognition, direct cognition of the perception, and empirical validated cognition. Right? Direct validated cognition and empirical validated cognition. So when you trust her word, and believe the person there, it's kind of more empirical valid cognition. So that's equal to you see directly her because you got some reason why you trust her. So this both is, but it is still relative truth. Both of them related truth. It's both in a truth in a relative level. But both are at the force in the ultimate level. Okay, so that last, then we do meditation only 1 minute. Then dedication, and after they're watching the over there.
Hello, Kempo.
Okay.
Actually, my question is kind of simple. Actually, I just want to ask Kempo advice, like ask how to enter into the emptiness of wisdom.
How to
Enter
into
the
wisdom.
Emptiness of wisdom.
Okay.
Because I'm
There
a
are
beginner
yeah.
to this.
Okay. Very
Thank
good.
you.
There are many ways. If you are more kind of a religious person, if you have already kind of faith, Buddhism faith, if you are kind of beginner, it's Buddhism. But okay, so the basically what I'm trying to say that, as I earlier mentioned, for example, like pray to Buddha, Manjushri, Bodhisattvas. Those also actually very effective. Why? Because they have made inspiration when they are accumulating merit. So pray them to blessing us to understanding the emptiness correctly. That is also a very good way to starting. That's one. And another thing is also, as we mentioned, to accumulate merit with many ways. Then a very good way is if you got opportunity to study more, learning this kind of way of the Bodhisattva, way of the Bodhisattva, entering Madhyamaka, 400 verses of Madhyamaka, Madhyamaka Mulakarika, then precious garlands, all this kind of Madhyamaka. Then this Lamram, stage of path, gradually path. There are many different types of the path, like ornament of the liberation, and the triple visions, and then my perfect teacher, word of my perfect teachers. Those are extremely good. Starting there, reading them, because you already have general knowledge and reading scale. You are different from illiterate. So they're using those and reading these books whenever as like a hobby. Those are very, very good. And then whenever you get opportunity to attending and the kind of this kind of class, even sometimes waste your time, but should to trying to attend it with a sort of interest, great interest, you will get something. Even teacher couldn't explain very well, but due to your interest and your faith, you will get something. You will get something understanding there. It's the dependent origination. It's a dependent origination, because of our faith and interest, great interest in the Dharma. And honestly, I tell you, through my experience and learning in class, sometimes almost never missed the class. This is because of my commitment and because of the rule of the regulations. Because of that, but many times I fall asleep in the class. But still, it's a huge difference when come down and reading self-study, which I have attended and slept on the class. Or it's almost the same as we never taught it before. But when you're reading this, it feels different. So that's what I'm trying to say, that you will not get everything from teacher. The teacher will make you apathize sometimes, but real understanding of the emptiness, all those things in the philosophy should entirely depends on your hard work, your interest. You great interest in the theory or those things is a very good way to keep and improving it. Is the best way to entering the emptiness. Then once you're having some really certain certainty sense on emptiness. Certainty sense means you have a conviction. You have a really kind of quite certainty on the emptiness concept. Then at that time, putting into practice is actually really good. Meditation means we always think only just sitting on something, right? Meditation generally doesn't mean only sitting on cushion and focus on something. Just be mindfulness. Apply this emptiness concept while you're reading, doing anything. Those are the actually meditation. You know, the meditation. When we putting all the practice of the Buddhism in three categories, we can put it in three categories: hearing, contemplating, and meditation. So if we think only meditation is only sitting on the cushion without moving the body, if we think only that, then many practices will not able to include it in three categories. So meditation doesn't mean only sitting on the cushion. Meditation means be mindful. Be mindful and be mindful, remembering your knowledge, using it at any time, anywhere you can use it. That is kind of meditating. You're focusing on something. You're focused on something. So those are very good. Okay, very good. Then we do meditation for only 1 minute.